So my guest this morning is Queen Yolanda Simmons. Yolanda Simmons, she's an educator, performer, a personal development and wellness coach, a mentor and minister of encouragement and inspiration. She received her education from Montclair State University, Regent University, New York Theological Seminary, Manhattan Bible Institute, and School of Medicine. She resides in New Jersey. My guest this morning again, and welcome to the Reading Circle microphones, Queen Yolanda Simmons. Yolanda, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. As they say, all is well.
I hear you.
So this is Mother's Day weekend. We were originally scheduled to have this interview in April. I think it was April 20th, if I'm not mistaken. It was somewhere around that time frame.
Yeah.
But April... And I always get messed up with this because I tend to forget because I usually schedule in advance, and I always forget that April is kind of like the promo month up here in terms of these various theme shows here at WP 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. We have these theme shows. April is usually the Thons, Thon. I said thon, not thong. The Thons. So we have Brave-a-thon, we have Vinyl-thon, we have Sports-a-thon, we have, so all these Thons that we have in April, and I always tend to forget about them even though they're on my calendar. So I'd originally scheduled Yolanda on the April day because it was something about that weekend, you said with the women. It was something about that weekend originally you said it would be great for.
Right. Actually, it was a day for, I know it was during women's, it wasn't Women's History Month.
It was like reconciliation or it was something. It was a
reflection
day.
Right,
on reflection.
The
that's
calendar that I have.
That's right. On her calendar, she said, "Oh, that date would be perfect because that's a reflection date." And then I had to call her up and say, "Yolanda, we're gonna have to reschedule because we have promos." But this actually worked out just as well because it's Mother's Day weekend. So yes. So it's still, as God would have it, worked out perfect because it's Mother's Day weekend. And so she is on the show. Now, Yolanda and I met at my school. My parent coordinator, Evelyn Demers, she came to me and she said, do you know Yolanda Simmons? And I'm sitting there like, I think so. We might have seen each other's names. So I said, she said, she wrote a book. I said, oh. And she says, I'm going to get you a copy of it. I said, great. So she got me a copy. I said, okay, guess what? I'm going to invite her to be on my show. And then we invited her to the building to speak to the boys. The boys. She came over, and one morning during our morning meeting, she had the opportunity to speak to my student body. And at that time, that's whenever I invited her to be on the show. So I am thrilled, and as they can say, happy glad that she is here. Some of that'll make sense because you've been to New York Theological Seminary. Some of these things I say will make sense to you. And so what you call it. But in any event, I am thrilled that she's here. My first question, I don't work off a question sheet, but I do work because I'm looking at your bio, and you would be what I consider a Renaissance woman in terms of doing so many different things. See, I'm not mad at folks that do one thing for all of their life. I'm not mad at folks who do that. But I'm one who loves to do different things. And so whenever I come across somebody else who's done so many different things, it's an immediate connection. And so I kind of consider them Renaissance people, that they're not stuck in just one thing. So when I see here Montclair State, when I see, New York Theological, I see the Manhattan Bible Institute, in her other bio that I'll have to read to you as well, the one that I sent in the promo, it really gets into all the various things, as well as you're into the crystals and all those different things. Okay. Yes. As a matter of fact, I started to wear all my crystal bracelets this morning. And then I changed over and I did the inspiration messages.
That's okay, though.
Exactly. Because I was like, oh, here's strength. This one says inspiration. This one says master of my own fate. This one says never, never give up. Cool. And so I started to wear my crystals and I said, I'll wear my motivation bands. So, okay.
Perfect.
But in any event, so we're going to talk about all of that. So my first question generally is kind of like, where did this all start? How did you come to be who you are and being interested in everything you're interested in, ultimately become an author? We're going to work our way through that over the next hour or so.
Okay. That's actually a good question. I, as a child, was always interested in the arts. And one of the things I can say is that my parents actually picked that up, especially my mom. She knew I was very much into music. And my father later realized it. It took him a little longer. Or he used to say, girl, you got to have talent. You got to have talent to do stuff. And, and it used to really bother me, but what it did is it helped to push me even more. So with the arts, I was always interested in singing. I was always interested just in music in general. I also was interested in art. I used to draw. And what ended up happening, another thing that came out of that is I used to like to write. And I used to try to, write songs as a child and everything. And I used to hear music in my head. Remember the movie that they did on James Brown?
I do.
You remember when he was a child and he used to hear music in his head? That was me.
Okay.
That was me. I never got to play an instrument though, which would have been really helpful. That was something my grandmother really wanted to push, was for me to learn how to play piano so I could write my own music. So it's still not too late. Maybe I'll learn to do that too, right?
That's right.
But over time, what happened was with the poems that you see in this particular issue here is that I just used to write through the years. Some of these poems are about 20 years old, and some of them have been refreshed. And I just decided that I wanted to tell my story in an interesting way, and I thought doing it through poetry would be a great way to do it.
No, absolutely. I know the feeling. Now, okay, a couple of things. One, it's not too late for the piano. I've been playing piano since I was 8 because my mother, in particular, wanted her children to play a musical instrument. So she comes in. I was 8. I think my sister was around 6, somewhere around there. And she said, either one of you want to play the piano? Anybody want to play the piano? I said, I do. My sister was like, absolutely not. So, I started taking piano lessons when I was 8 and took them for 10 years. The piano opened up so many different doors for me. Matter of fact, I can probably credit my first real job, my not job as a teenager, as a kid. I mean, my first corporate job. I can tag it back to playing the piano because I got hired as a secretary because I could type so fast. The reason I could type so fast was because my fingers from playing the piano. Mm-hmm. And it has opened so many other doors for me that, yes, and music, absolutely, writing. See, we're like kindred spirits here in terms of all that. Because the other part, the bio, I read the bio that's on the back of the book, but there's another bio she has here. What I read, she says, plus, she received her BA in speech and theater and MA in Communication Arts from Montclair State University, 2-year certification in Christian ministry from New York Theological, a license from the American School of Medicine, and honorary certificate of graduation from Barbizon School of Modeling. Mm-hmm. She works in Patterson Public Schools and is the president of Queen Yolanda Enterprises, LLC. So her work with Patterson Public Schools is what brought her to my building. Mm-hmm. So we had all, because that day I remember you talking about the modeling. Yes. With the boys, whenever you were telling them about the model. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did that come about?
Interestingly, after I'd gotten married, I was living in Jacksonville, Florida, and what happened was I got an opportunity to go interview for a job to be a modeling teacher at Barbizon. I didn't get the job. I was because I had I was working at a temping agency. I had an assignment where we were moving files, and the people would not let me move up my interview. So I went dusty and everything to that interview, and they did not accept me. They put an application, or I should say, an ad in the newspaper after about probably 3 months. And when I went back, when I signed up for the interview, I made sure I was clean. Like that, like only Patterson can be. You understand? And I got the job on the spot. Had never modeled except modeling at church, church fashion shows.
Right.
And so what ended up happening, I ended up working with them for a number of years, ended up becoming the head instructor. And then when we relocated, because my husband at the time, when I was married, that's my first and only marriage I've had. He was in the military, so he got relocated to Virginia, and I started working at that particular Barbizon. I also worked at John Casablancas. And this whole time when I was working as a modeling instructor, I also was getting modeling gigs in Florida when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, and when I was in Virginia Beach, Norfolk area of Virginia. Yeah. And that's how modeling.
So you had the opportunity to model as well.
Yeah.
All right. So again, as a child, you had the interest in music, had the interest in the arts, which makes sense in terms of the degree at Montclair.
Yeah.
So where did the ministry, where did New York Theological come in?
Well, I grew up in the church.
Same here.
My grandmother was a pastor in Patterson. The late Dr. Reverend Ethel Lee Williams. She was Pentecostal pastor.
All right now.
All right. And she was with United Holiness Churches. So I attended her church for a number of years. And then once I got in college, I ended up leaving her church, and I decided to go to a different church in Patterson. And that church was a fire baptized Holiness Church, another Pentecostal church.
All right now, glory to God. Yes.
And at the time, the pastor was Reverend Joseph W. Parks, and which later became a bishop. So he was also my father-in-law. I married one of his sons.
All right. Okay.
And that is how I got. I just was involved in the church. Even when I was in college, I was involved in the gospel choir at Montclair State. I was one of the choir directors up there. And what ended up happening, I just decided I always knew I had as we would say, I know you can appreciate and understand this, a calling on my life.
I do. I understand it totally. I'm there with you.
That, I'm not just here just to be. I'm here to do service, to do work. And I always knew mine was to encourage people, inspire people. So in order to help me to be more proficient, I thought it would be good for me to go and study. So going to Montclair State, going to Manhattan Bible Institute, I took the evangelist course there. And then I also ended up going to New York Theological Seminary, getting a 2-year degree there in Christian ministry, because again, just, always learning, because I feel, it's important, it's nice to encourage people and everything, but we have to feed ourselves too.
Correct.
We have to be fed as well.
That's absolutely right. And biblically, it says study to show thyself approved. So without question, and interestingly enough, my pastor, he graduated from New York Theological.
Oh, okay.
That's where so I'm very familiar with the school. So this is what I'm talking about, like varied interests, but at the same time, they're all connected.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Connected in terms of helping people, serving people, making life better for others. It's all connected.
Yep. Absolutely. It's definitely all connected. And I think, to just sit and do nothing, you're just wasting your time on this planet.
Yes.
It's meant for us to live, to grow, to experience. And for me, that's just been, it's just something that I've wanted to enjoy doing. I just can't just sit and be stagnant. I'm going to create. I might be stagnant for 24 hours.
That's right.
Maybe 24 hours. I might be down for 24 hours. But then, like you read the poem earlier, I got to keep it moving. Got
to keep moving. And that one's because see, that spoke to me because that's where I'm at this point. You got to keep moving. Like regardless of up, down, life is what it is. You got to keep moving. You can't get stuck. You can't stay stuck. So that's what I opened up the show with this one. I may read it again. But in any event, I'm going to have you read some of them because anytime I have the author and they have, he or she has their book, I love for them to read it. Because you can put the intonation and the inflections and everything, when you wrote it, how you wanted it to sound. So the reader gets an opportunity, because I know, I put the emphasis on, but you may put the emphasis on a totally different point. So did you have, even though you were a child, you liked to write, you loved the art, did it occur to you at that time that you were going to be an author?
Yes.
It did? Oh, okay. So that was actually...
Everything I've been doing, I wanted to do as a child. And remember, I told you I used to draw. I remember as a teenager, I drew a picture, and in the picture, I was writing also and drawing like some of the things I wanted to do and be. And I can tell you, at this stage in my life, I've done basically just about everything that I diagrammed. And I always say, like, at this stage, if God was to take me tomorrow, I have done the things that I wanted to experience. But I know at this point, I feel there's more for me to do to help and helping others.
Correct.
You know,
it's interesting because as we were walking in, I was telling you about how this show came about.
Mm-hmm.
But the part I didn't tell you was I had already had that in a journal. I had already had written down in a journal that I wanted to host a radio show or a TV show. And again, like you, I have, like now they call it a bucket list. But I had like that list because I was reading some book that said write down 100 things you want to get accomplished in life, at least 100. So I actually went through the list and I had all kinds of stuff in there. I want to wear cufflink shirts. I want to do this. I want to have a radio show. I want to have this. And like you, a good number of the things on that list have come to pass. Because see, all the time, and you were talking about words, I saw it on the back of your book. And for my regular listeners to the show, they know I say it almost every week about how powerful words are. Mm-hmm. Words have power. That's why I caution people to be very careful of your word choice. Because what you think about and you talk about, you bring about.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, see, people think that that's supposed to be immediate. Like, okay, well, I just said that. It didn't happen. No. Over time, you just don't know how it's going to manifest over time of what you're saying. So that's why I say be very careful. Because the time between when I wrote in the journal that I wanted to host a radio show or be a TV show host and the time of it happening, it was years. Mm-hmm. But it was there. Just like you were saying, some of these diagrams you drew as a child came to pass later as an adult.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
And then what happens is, it's been my experience, when it happens, your mind goes back to, I remember saying that years ago. I remember writing that years ago. I remember, that's what begins to happen. Because, see, on the back of her book, it says, words are revealing. Words are powerful through the transformative power of language and its ability to transcend the mundane. When words are used effectively and creatively, they can ignite imagination, evoke emotions, and even inspire action. May these words encourage you to soar and have a lasting positive impact on your life. I could not agree more. I am a major proponent on the power of words.
Absolutely. It's, when I think about the teachers that I've had, be it if it was in English, in theater, because theater, it's about bringing the words to life. And even when in thinking about English class, there was an English course I took at Montclair State when I was getting my bachelor's degree. And I remember we had to read poetry and we had to bring those words to life. And it really helped to emphasize just the whole power of words and about how you say words and how people in turn will experience what you're saying, hopefully, and it's just so important to keep that really, to make sure that we're aware of what we're saying.
One of the things, and I know just about everybody in the world, they're either a fan or the president of Martin Luther King's fan club. I get it. I'm one of the number. But one of the things that made Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches so powerful was the fact that he literally used words and his voice like an instrument.
Yes.
Like an instrument, just like a violin, his intonation, the word choice, the rhythm, slow 1 minute, fast the next, hot, loud 1 minute, soft the next, so forth. That's what made his speeches so powerful. And I teach public speaking. That's what I teach at the college level is public speaking. And we get into that whole thing about being able to vary, like you said, because that's what makes people feel.
Yes.
You don't want to be monotone. That you don't want to be. You don't want to always be talking at the same speed. There's just certain things that goes into speaking that a lot of people, most people, and that's the other crazy thing too. People literally, they not figuratively, literally would rather die than to speak in front of people. Are you kidding me?
That's right. You were saying about, teaching and, I told you I used to teach here at William Patterson. And I taught public speaking here at William Patterson.
There you
go. Well, that was one of the courses I taught. But that's what we used to tell the students about they would even rather jump out of a plane in a parachute before they will speak in front of an audience.
And they mean that.
Yes.
They mean that. I was like, are you really? Seriously? I was like, I get up in front of the Yankee Stadium. The stadium could be packed. If I had to make a speech there, it would not faze me. Now, what I tell people all the time, that's not saying that you won't get nervous. Matter of fact, you should be a little bit nervous when you get ready to speak. You should have a little bit of butterflies, but they need to go away once you start talking.
Exactly.
But
and the more you do it, the better you will get through it and get at it. So that's what another thing we tell students. Just take advantage of opportunities that come your way.
That is absolutely right. So when I hear that, like, oh my God, and a lot of you are like, all right, right now the two of us, there's only two of us here, but we're still public speaking. All right, you can be on the telephone. That's still public speaking. People don't realize that. They just think public speaking is always in front of a big crowd. That's not always the case. So when we start my first class off, we help them understand what public speaking is. Like when you talk to your mother on the telephone, that's public speaking. So, but see, again, there's another facet, and all of it is connected. That's what I love about it, because everything I do is based in education and communication. Mm-hmm. Everything is all the radio show, the principal of the school, what I do in church, in school, again, as a student, if I'm teaching at college or whatever, all of it is connected. Communication, education. All right. So I'm kind of getting that same feel from you. And at the end of the day, it is a connection, because it's not just about me and you. It's about helping somebody else become better.
Absolutely.
And that is what the calling is. Mm-hmm. I mean, in all honesty, to be here on earth and not help somebody else, that was a waste.
Yes. We all have purpose. I've talked to people and they say, I don't know why I'm here. And I say, you have to take time away from others, do some reflection, and that's how you will find. A lot of times it can be a part of your passion. That's how you can get to that, to get that answer of how I can be of service on this planet while I'm here. Yours may not necessarily be public speaking. It could be something as simple as helping children in another type of unique way.
Correct.
But you have to take that me time, that time alone, to really kind of dissect what you like, what you don't like, what you find joy in. And you'll be able to get to that point. That's how I did as a child.
That's absolutely right. So now you have Queen Yolanda Enterprises, LLC.
Yes.
Because I know we talked a little bit. I want you to talk more about the calendar, talk about the book. So I'm going to say the crystals we're going to talk about. I'm assuming all of this falls under that umbrella.
Yes.
Okay, so how did that start? How did you come to Queen Yolanda Enterprises?
Well, what had happened was... It first was Power Jewels Management. And it was because I wanted to have a self-development company to help, again, we rotate back to helping others. And the Power Jewels Management didn't seem to fit as a good umbrella for everything I wanted to do. So I decided to use the Queen Yolanda. Now, the Queen Yolanda is a different reason how I came to that. I went to, there was a tour for Black women called African American Women on Tour. This was back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Wait, 80s? No, the 90s. In the 90s. And I went to a few of their conferences. And one of the things I did was the rites of passage for adult women. That particular weekend experience, one of the things they had us do, and I guess I can say this on here, but they had us call one another Queen and then the first name. So I was Queen Yolanda, right? It would be Queen Anne, Queen Annette, Queen Evelyn, And when we would talk to each other, that experience was so profound, so awakening, so motivating that from that point on in my life, I began to call myself Queen Yolanda. It changed my life.
I don't blame you. Because, see, again, here we go back to the power of words. And secondly, there's a song by Sounds of Blackness called Royalty, where it gets into this whole thing of if no one's ever told you that, and I'm paraphrasing it, that we are royalty.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're saying, the fact that they put Queen in front of it was a totally different experience does not surprise me. Because the truth of the matter is we are, especially adults, we're kings and queens. At my school, I tell the boys they're prince. we're in developing you to become a king. Okay, so our kids are prince and princesses. We're kings and queens. People are almost ashamed to claim their heritage.
Yeah,
I mean, from
it's true.
the standpoint of, from a religious base, we're king's kids. So, why would not we? And so, yes, and especially given our liberation, because yesterday we had professional development on Juneteenth. So the whole thing about, our liberation, so forth and so on. Yeah, we need to be proud of that. We should not have a problem with being addressed as or feeling like. Because whether you want to be addressed as it or not, you need to feel like it. It's about the self-esteem.
Yeah, when I did that particular conference that year with the Rites of Passage, it was in 1996. I was sitting here for a moment to remember, and I had gone through a lot. You were talking earlier on the radio about just life experiences that one goes through, and it took me. I had, even though I was smiling because she's always smiling, but I still had this. If I could say funk going on behind the scenes, but I was still trying to push through. But that particular experience that weekend, I let it go. And I remember when I arrived at the conference, there was a woman sitting next to me at the open plenary that they had. And she looked at me and she says, "You're ready for this." I didn't know who that lady was. Now she was, and we hadn't separated into our sessions yet. Right. Okay, but she says, "You're ready for this." She said, "It's going to change your life." And I didn't see her the rest of the conference, but she was so right. I have not been the same since.
None of the stuff that we're talking about surprises. Matter of fact, there's very little that surprises me anymore in terms of, without a shadow of a doubt, I know there's another realm. There's something beyond us. There's something bigger than us. I know for a fact there's God. Now, people have different names, whatever, the universe, this, that, and that. But I know there's something beyond us. Only because I've had too many instances where, like on last week's show, I'd opened the show up with a particular scripture. The young lady who was my guest, she was not, because she was out in Seattle, Washington, so she had not tuned in. As we're talking, she now brings up that same scripture. Now, let me tell you where I'm going with this. You said your company was Power Jewels. When this show first started, because the show title is The Reading Circle with Marc Medley, when the show originally began, it was called Power Readers. The station manager who brought me on, he had named the show Power Readers. So the first time he threw me behind his microphone, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, host of Power Readers, Marc Medley." But I ultimately changed the name of the show over the years to The Reading Circle. So that's what I'm saying. Just the word power was in both of our experiences.
Absolutely.
You were Power Jewels,
yes.
I was Power Readers. So speaking of the jewels,
yes,
how did you get into that? I mean, because I'm into stones as well. I mean, I'm trying to think of jade and onyx and black tiger. I mean, what is it? No, tiger's eye. Yeah, tiger eyes, onyx. I'm trying to think of most of them. I know at some point I have the citrine. Citrine. That's it. Like I'm trying to think of some of the names as I go through them. Hematite. That's right. That's right. Hematite. Okay, so how did you get into that?
Well, with the stones, interestingly, I was just walking in the mall, one of the malls here in Jersey, over by Secaucus, and there was a gentleman in there, and I was with one of my, I call her my big sister. She's a sister by another mother. Her name's Claudette. We were walking in the mall, and it was this display of just various gemstones, and there was a gentleman behind there, and we were walking, and I just went straight to the table, and I spoke with him. He gave me his card and everything, and I didn't buy anything. I just looked, and then I went later, and I ended up going to another vendor showcase that he was at, and I bought some of the jewels he had. What ended up happening, because of the experience with talking with him about the gemstones, and also one of my mentors, I should mention Elaine Harris, who also introduced me to talking about gemstones as well, I decided that I wanted to use it as a tool to also help people with self-development. But I started with me using them for myself, and I saw the impact. There were exercises that I learned. I mean, I guess if we were doing something visual here, I could show you an activity, but there's just different activities that you can do that can help with focus, with using the gemstones, with using silver, with using gold, and it actually works, and it can help strengthen our focus, and it's been a wonderful journey. As you can see, I have plenty of them on.
I see turquoise.
Yeah, I have
I
that.
see the turquoise. I see the.
I have the amethyst.
Right,
there.
amethyst. That's the purple. Yeah, I have that same bracelet. This one I have. I have that same one.
You know what this is good for? This is good for the EMF. So this 5G that's up. That's up. You need to keep yourself protected.
Right.
Yeah, you can go on the website and order one of these.
I have that exact same bracelet.
Yeah,
in fact, I'd have really leaped if I'd have worn that one this morning. We'd have been in
we would have been twins.
We would have been twins. That's right. So it's like, but see, the thing with the stones is the stones, and this is what Yolanda's talking about. The stones have energy. Each different type of stone gives off a different energy.
Just like we have energy. Like I said, if we were doing one of the exercises, let's see what we could do. You put this hand here.
There you go.
Then I put here.
Right.
Then you put your hand on the top.
There we go.
Okay. Now, if you really focus, you can feel the energy between each other's hands, because we all are made of energy.
Correct.
Too.
We are. You're absolutely right.
You know, just doing that activity.
Yes,
you know,
because that's the other thing. Everything is energy. Everything and everybody. That's why we're all connected. Everything is connected.
Mm-hmm.
I get inanimate objects and all, but even inanimate objects are energy, because everything that's inanimate is just perception to our mind and our eyes.
Yeah.
All right. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to energy. So all the different stones have energy. So now, do you take the stones and create jewelry out of them, or is it just a matter of, okay, I have a bunch of stones and I sell the different stones, or you actually create necklaces and bracelets out of them? Or whatever.
Some of them I purchase, but I do specialize in making stones specially for people. Actually, one of the things I just did, Juneteenth is coming up next month. And so there's a Miss Juneteenth pageant in Nevada. And I was one of the sponsors for them. So I made bracelets for their delegates that are in the pageant, in the Juneteenth pageant in Nevada. And so they had, they have six, I think it's six, I did six bracelets. Okay. And I used the citrine. I also used clear quartz, which it's very good stone to use. And so they should have got them yesterday. The pageant's June 1st for them, and then they'll be going to national, whoever the winner is.
See, all the stones, they have different purposes. Like some calms your nerves, some are for energy, some are for, as you said, letting go. Mm-hmm. So I think like amethyst is very good for emotions. If I remember, I'm trying to make sure I've gotten it. I think amethyst is with emotions.
Amethyst is good for protection. It also can help with emotions as well. Oh my goodness. One of the things that's good, also hematite is good for emotions. Like, one of the things, like after my father passed, which was devastating, anybody that's had especially a good relationship with their parent, and they leave here.
Right.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Man, you think you're gonna really just kind of actually keep moving.
Right.
That was written after my father passed.
Okay. All right.
But hematite was one of the stones I was drawn to, and one of the things I was told by the people I mentioned earlier that made me aware of, crystals, was that whatever you're drawn to is what you should purchase. So if you're in the store, so at the time I had gone to Jamaica to get away after my father passed. And I remember I got a hematite, and then when I read later, I was like, "Oh, okay, I had no idea," But it was good because of my emotional state I was in to help with that, to help with calming.
So yeah, I have necklaces, I have bracelets, and like I said, I had on, because normally on any given day, you will find me in those. But because I knew you were doing that, I said, okay, I'm going to wear my inspiration bands. So next time you see me, I'm going to be in those again. But in any event, but see, again, it's all connected. And as Yolanda was saying, see, even with the Stones and everything, in order to know all of that, that means we had to study it. So in order for us to have a conversation that we're having, I mean, for me to be able to talk about what the various Jewels and Stones can do means at some point I've read about them or I've researched it to say, okay, what is that about? What is this about? What is it about? Mm-hmm. Again, back to the study thing. Everything that we're talking about really kind of gets down to the willingness to want to learn.
Yes.
I want to learn about that. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about that. And that's, as you go through her bio, I want to learn more about how I can be better in ministry. I want to learn more how I can be better in the arts. I want to learn more how I can be better in encouraging and inspiration. I want to, so that's what I mean by when I say Renaissance woman. It's like you aren't just focused on, and again, I'm not mad at folks that the only thing they do their entire life is be an accountant. I'm not mad at you for that. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But there are others who branch out and do multiple things. They do a lot of things. They, because they have that interest, they have the energy to be a part of something else. So I already read Keep On Moving. I loved it. Matter of fact, that was, I needed that for me. And that's why I think it leaped out at me, because I just happened to be thumbing through the book and that one popped. Just like you were just talking about with the jewel, whichever one you were drawn to. Opened the book, that popped up. I said, oh, this is perfect. I'm reading that this morning to open the show. Is there anyone in there that's like your favorite? That's a tough question, and I'll tell you what, because now that one, to me, that's tough because I have 2 musical CDs out that just like you, some of the songs on the first CD I had written whenever I was a teen, but when I finally put them down and laid tracks down, they came back. So between the 2 CDs, it's like maybe 23 songs, and people will ask, "Any of your favorite?" And that's a tough question, because that's what I remember in the Adam Clayton Powell movie. There's a line in there where they ask him, like, of all the accomplishments you have, which one is your favorite? And he was like, I can't answer that. That's just like asking which is your favorite child. And so it's just, but I still ask it anyway. Do by chance you have a favorite?
I have 2 of my favorites. One is 24 Hours.
Okay.
And the other one is Ponytail.
Okay. So then, is that the 2 you want to read, or you want to read? I know we were talking Mother's Day. There's one in there about mom.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to read that one for Mother's Day for sure. And then any other one you want to read, feel free.
Okay.
And even while you're doing that, because the title of the books, folks, is Peace. As I told you earlier, it's P.E.A.C.E. It's the word peace. But it is progressive evolution and conscious expansion. A collection of poems and prose of one woman's journey of personal growth and transformation. Before you even do the poems, how did you come up with that?
I wanted to talk about my journey from childhood to adulthood.
Okay.
And I'm at peace with who I am. And so I said, how can I come up with, you know what, I'm going to do peace as an acronym, and then break it down. And then I slowly, kept playing around with different words and then came up with that.
Okay, so the peace is progressive evolution and conscious expansion.
Yeah, because I've expanded.
That's right.
As I've grown. In more ways than one. We'll leave that alone, though. Oh, boy.
So what you got out of there? What you want to leave for share for us?
I was going to do the fun one, Ponytail, but
you can do more than one.
I think 24 hours is important because we've been talking about with, just mission and, just kind of what it is that people, why are you here? So I'm going to do 24 hours.
Okay.
And this was something that came to mind, and it's basically this. If there was 24 hours left of your life to do something to make things better here, what would you do? And basically, at the end of the day, why aren't you doing it now?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Why aren't you doing it now? What you waiting for?
I end every show with, may you live as long as you want and not want as long as you live. Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. That's how I end every show. So to your point, I was like, you're absolutely correct. Why aren't you doing it now? What's stopping you? So,
all right, here we go. Let's unite as one, for we have just 24 hours to make this world a better place to use all our powers. No time to waste, no time to dwell. We need to act fast before the final bell. From land to land, we must come together for a world of peace that will last forever. No more hunger, no more pain, no more division, no more disdain. If we only had 24 hours to live, what changes would we make? What would we give? The time is now, right now, to heal the world, to make a vow, to eliminate racism, classism, ageism, and sexism, to love and respect each other, to break down the schisms, we must take responsibility for the world we live in and create a better tomorrow for our children's kin. Let's use our voices. Let's use our hands. Let's stand together. Let's make a stand. The clock is ticking. Time is running out. But we can make a change without a doubt. For we have just 24 hours to make things right. Let's come together. Let's shine the light on a world of hope, a world of love, a world that we can all be proud of. Let's unite as one and make this world better for the sake of our children and for all who matter. We have the power, we have the will to make a difference, to make things still.
all right, now see, now if we was in a club, we don't clap hands for poetry, we snap fingers. So that would be, that's right. That's exactly right. You don't clap hands as spoken word. You don't clap hands. See, you learned something. I've said it before. I've had other poems. But yes, we snap fingers. We don't clap hands. You see, even at the school, I teach my boys that when somebody come in with spoken word, like, don't clap, snap your fingers. So yes, right. But that is absolutely right in terms of 24 hours. I mean, when you really get down to it and you reflect on, like, when you think about this, because these things are like for reflection, to just sit there and wait a minute, because we are so busy and always on the go that we just never take time to just kind of like think about some of the foolishness that's going on around us, mm-hmm. some of the things that we contribute to that just when I posted something the other day that says you can have 99 problems, but if you get a health problem, you only have one problem.
Wow. Wow.
So when all this stuff that we think matters, you let something go down with your health, or you let somebody pass away, this and that, mm-hmm. you see just how much a lot of this stuff don't matter. So now your question is, all right, doctor just told you got 24 hours. What you gonna do with them last 24 hours? Right. What you that's something to think about. Who you gonna call? Who you gonna talk to? What you gonna do? What decisions you gonna make? Got 24 hours. That's it. The clock is running. Just like that TV show some years ago, 24 hours. Yeah. Clock is running. Okay, so let's play this out. It's 7:46 a.m. on the 11th. Excuse me. By tomorrow, 7:46 a.m. on the 12th, you're up. You're done. What are you going to do between now, 7:46 a.m. on the 11th, and 7:46 on the 12th? That's something to think about.
How you going to make a difference?
Wow.
Wow. That is, it's yeah. I think about stuff like that. I was thinking about stuff like that when I was a child.
So you were a deep thinker then. So you were like one of those, and I have seen I've worked with children like that are just different thinkers, deep thinkers, or whatever. Now, all right, because you thought like that, or you were a child like that, did like teachers or what? And I don't know if you exhibited or displayed it or not in school, but did teachers kind of like say, "All right, what's up here? Why? Because this is what we tend to do. We want all the kids to think alike." And it's like, no, I appreciate the different thinkers. Because we got a couple different thinkers at my school. And I'm constantly telling the teachers, don't look at that as a negative. That's a positive. They're a different thinker.
I was chatty in school.
Okay.
It's funny because I was talking to some of my friends, St. Peter crew, if you're listening, hi. And we were joking about, getting what particular grade we got in self-control in elementary school. And some of us were talking about, I got a D, I got an F in self-control. I remember my mom, because my mom saved, some of my report cards. And do you know, I was shocked to see that a teacher had written, "She constantly talks, she never shuts up." And I don't remember being like that, but I guess I was.
It is so funny you talk about that crazy. I just yesterday talked with the students because what we did is we broke up in 6 different groups, and each group had a different question. And so the question my group had was, all right, in the school system, we have a significant number of students who are 2 or more grade levels behind. You might be one of them. How does that make you feel? And like you said, what are we going to do to change this? So during the discussion, I talked about when I was your age, there was a grade on the report card, self-control. Now, they've taken that grade away, you know.
No, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been gone for years. It's not on the report card anymore.
Wow.
But it's funny you brought that up because when we were coming through, there was a grade for self-control.
Yep.
So I asked the student, I said, well, what do you think that means? So one student said, well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Self-control means you control yourself. I said, bingo. You control you. Now, my parents were like, listen, we don't want, low grades in any of the subjects. However, your grade in self-control, that better be high because you control that. You control that. So you will not be coming in here with self-control on the lower end. But yeah, they took that grade off the report card. It's not there. There are certain things we did in education when we were kids that we kind of threw out that really, really did work. And we got all this other stuff going on now. And it's kind of like, had you kept some of the old stuff. I'm not saying that we couldn't make changes, but had we kept some of the old stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that was off.
Yeah, it's off the report card. It's not on there anymore. We don't have self-control. We don't have a grade for that.
I got better, though, because when I looked at the report cards, like, say, from grades 5 and up, I learned how to be quiet. I got better. But the lower grades, I was chatty.
In your capacity now, because you're a parent coordinator too, right?
I'm a parent coordinator now. I'm not teaching college, but I'm just doing parent coordinator.
So
work.
you're which school? You told
I'm
me
at
when
school
we were there.
12.
That's right. You were Dr. Dobbs. Yes. Okay.
Hi, Dr. Dobbs.
Yeah, that's right. I'll make sure she get a copy. But yes, and in that role, because see again, that's how I got reintroduced to her was through my parent coordinator, Evelyn Demarest, and so their role is to actually kind of be really supposed to be, if it was really working right, that would kind of be the first face parents hit when they hit the school. And then they kind of like, okay, you know what, let's go see the principal. All right, if they kind of like, they get a chance to, they have the opportunity to smooth things out. You all have the opportunity sometimes to smooth things out before they get to us.
Yeah, you know what, it really depends on how the principal decides they want to set up that that dynamic. Because I've been in schools where some principals just want the parents to come straight to them after they see the people in the office. And then you have some that have you, be that first line of contact. And then you have those that just want you to come into the meeting with the parent,
That's exactly
to
right.
be that buffer.
I have done all three.
It depends. It depends on the school and the parent as well.
When I was in, you probably know Darlene Morris.
Yes, I do.
All right, Darlene was mine when I was in school, 28. Right, exactly. When I was in school. And Darlene, the way I used Darlene was the way that you just described her. She was first line of contact. And most of the time, by the time parents got to me after dealing with Darlene, it was smoothed out. By the time I got invited into the meeting, they were calmed down. Then I've had other schools where I've done it the other ways that you just described. But again, the parent portion is so critical in the success of the child.
Yes.
It is so very important because too many parents abdicate their responsibility and think the school has to do it all. And we're constantly saying, no, it's a partnership.
Absolutely. It's a partnership. It's a
partnership. And I tell all the kids I deal with, I make it very clear. Let me tell you something, kid. You are not going to play two ends against the middle. You are not.
No, really.
Right. You are not going to go
they will try.
home. They will. And they're good at it. You are not going to go home and have it look like the school is against your parent, and you're not going to come here and have it look like your parent is against the school. So what I will do is I will have the child and the parent, we all meet together to make everybody know, now child, you see, your parent is not against us. We're not against your parent. We're working together for the betterment of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I let the kids know, you're not going to play us because they do. They will play us. I still get parents coming, he told me we ain't had no homework. I go, oh, no. He has homework there.
You know what that one of the incidents that stands out. This is when I was working at School 13 as a parent coordinator, and I remember we had a parent come in. A student didn't really do an assignment he was supposed to do correctly, and what ended up happening, he didn't get a good grade for that particular subject. And the parent came in because the parent wanted to know, like, what's up? Like this. Well, of course, what happens is you have the child tell this one story to the parent, and then the parent gets there and they find out it's a different story. And
oh boy,
yeah, and I'm sitting in that meeting because I didn't know the whole story beforehand. So, as a matter of fact, we had assistant superintendent there at the time as well. Hi, Miss Warren. It was Miss Warren.
Oh, she was mine.
Miss Warren, Miss Booker, and this parent with the child, and he was a seventh or eighth grader. I said, "Excuse me, can I talk to the parent and the student?" When we got to that office, I went in on that student with his dad. I said, "Don't you ever
That's right.
do that to your parent,
That's
to your
right.
father again. You tell your father the truth. Don't have him getting
That's
in there
right.
and
And
the
looking like
story
a
is
fool.
totally different. He's going in there trying to stand up for you.
That's
I
right.
can't stand when that happens. Because it's a waste of time for everybody.
That's right.
And especially if a parent is at work or whatever it is that they have to do during the course of the day, and they get pulled in, and the child has not told them the truth.
That's right.
And they are so angry. He was sitting there like, you have got to be kidding. And it was because he didn't do the assignment.
That's right. They get surprised often.
I hate that.
Based on all of your experience, background, education, because for me, education and ministry are very similar.
Absolutely.
While one is directed toward the spiritual and your soul and morals, and the other is for your academics. But they
intertwine.
Yes.
They intertwine.
Yes. Because even if you look at the word administrator, which is what principals are called, the word minister is in there. Administrator, ministry is in there. It's very close in terms of what we do from the education, in terms of the books, the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and what ministers and what we do in church in terms of trying to get us right. And so you're right, they intertwine, and I always kind of see. So as you were sitting there telling that story, how does now having a ministry background help you with the parent piece?
Oh, it helps me tremendously. It helps with the compassion, especially when sometimes you may not agree with the person. It provides people skills. That's what really I can say it has done for me. It helped. I mean, besides the communication degree as well, but with the two together, and just understanding people are sometimes on different levels, mentally, spiritually, and you have to look at them where they are. Not well, you're a parent and you should be doing this and that, but you don't know what's going on.
Correct.
In that parent's home,
Correct.
What particular challenges that they are facing. And so having that extra insight and knowing that, be a good, because as you know, because you're a communication person, that listening is so crucial and so important. It's not just listening with the ears. Remember, there's listening with the eyes. You have to watch, pay attention.
That is correct.
And so
that is correct.
That's what I found. I mean, and I think about with my department work, my job comes through family and community engagement. And so I have said it to my executive director, and he can vouch for this, Kemper McDowell.
Yeah, I know Kemper well.
Okay. I have said to him, it's my ministry. I have called my job ministry.
I do the same.
I've been doing that for years because it is.
Yes.
Even before I came to Patterson Public Schools, I was working in Newark for almost 10 years. Through the school system there, I was in a abstinence education program. I was the director for the high school portion of it, citywide. And again, with my executive director there, I called it a ministry because of the type of work you're doing to help others' lives.
I cannot agree, because that's, as me as the principal, that's how I see my job. I
Absolutely.
see it as my ministry. That's exactly how I see it. because you're constantly making an impact on others' lives.
Yes.
So I could not agree with you more. Now, I know you have the calendar. Talk to me a little bit about that. What is the calendar all about? And then in a couple of minutes, we'll be out. We'll be done. So talk to me about the calendar.
Well, my calendar is called Peace Reflection Calendar. So it's, again, I keep thinking, we're on TV.
Radio. We're not on TV yet. TV's coming.
So the Progressive Evolution and Conscious Expansion Calendar is I did a reflection calendar because I wanted to really reach out to women and help transform lives, encourage lives, inspire lives. And as I call it, TIE, transform, inspire, encourage. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, I like using acronyms.
That's all right.
So I came up with the calendar, and what I did was I came up with various words for people to focus on each month. For instance, this month, last month was blossoming. Yes. This month, abundance.
That is correct.
May is abundance. And so for each month, I have 2 days that are designated that are reflection days. And I ask women, take time, even if it's 15 minutes, no matter how busy you are that day, and just reflect on that particular word. Even what I do sometimes is I give people questions that you can also reflect on. Also, in thinking about abundance, maybe you don't even want to do a question. Maybe all you want to do is just take a walk out in the sun by yourself and think about abundance in your life. Maybe what you want to do is go shopping and walk in the mall and think about abundance. See, the interesting thing about these are things that I've done in my life through the years, and I know they work. So I picked 2 days each month. Because we had a leap year, I did have 3 in February. Okay. But I picked 2 days, and I'm into numerology too. Okay. And that's how I selected my days for the month. And I just ask women to try it, and you will find that it will change your life perspective, that wherever you are now, that it will change your perspective in life as you continue to move forward. And I can say that I don't know how many people have done reflection journals. I've done them. What I would say to the audience, when's the last time you sat down and wrote out your 5-year goal, your 1-year goal, your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal? See, I was doing that as a teenager.
See, there you go. See, like we're talking about the power in words. Second, or right along up there with it, is the power in writing. Not only having the words, but putting the words on paper.
Yes.
That takes them up to the second power. That takes the words up to a whole nother level once you've put them on paper.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. And interestingly enough, yes, I have her calendar hanging in the Marc Medley Museum of Life Experiences. The calendar's hanging in there. It's in there. It's hanging in there.
I made the wall.
It is in the museum, yes. 2 more poems, the one on Mother's Day and the other one that you wanted to do. And then,
well, Ponytail, you going to let me read Ponytail?
Yeah, you can read Ponytail. That's fine.
Okay.
Unless it's totally X-rated, but no.
No. Now, this was a fun one. And I wrote this poem. I was driving home from Patterson Public Schools, and I was down the street from my home, and all of a sudden, the words came to me, nobody can wear a ponytail like a black woman can.
I know that's right.
And that just came. And I was like, oh, my goodness, I need to write. And so anyway, here you go. Nobody wears a ponytail like a black woman can. Her hair cascading down like a regal crown. It's a style that's part of our cultural tradition, an ode to our heritage and our own unique rendition. A black woman's ponytail is more than just hair. It's a statement of beauty, power, and pride that we wear. It's a symbol of our resilience and strength. That's simply fact, no matter the length. We twist and we flip, we braid and we're so versatile. Our ponytail speaks volumes about our grace and our style. We are the trendsetters, the innovators, the queens. Our ponytails are the imagery of beauty magazine dreams. Boy, is that the truth. So let us celebrate the black woman's ponytail. The way it sways, the way it bounces, the way it prevails. For nobody wears a ponytail like a black woman can. And it's a testament to the beauty and the power within. Click, click. Click, click.
And yes, by all means, you can read that one on the air. It is absolutely 100% true. Let's see, we're probably in the age category saying, but back in the 70s. Now, we've been wearing braids forever.
Yes.
I mean, that was at one point, that was about the only way we could wear our hair.
Yep.
Now they did this movie with Bo Derek. Because Bo Derek was I do remember it. And Bo had her hair in braids, and she was a 10. Mm-hmm. Folks were losing their minds. And it was like, black people were like, we've been wearing braids for years.
Absolutely.
Now this woman wearing it, and we talking 10.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, so by all means, you can read that. And then there's the one in there about Mother's Day.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, it's trust me when I tell you. So I'm doing like, the schooling I'm doing now is on leadership and social justice. And so they know they don't want to get me talking when it gets down to genderism and racism and all these other isms. They don't want to get me. Don't get me started.
Oh gosh!
But where's the one for Mother's Day?
Okay, all right. I stayed away from that. I was at Kennedy, and they invited me there, and I had an incident that happened there because a teacher misunderstood something that I was saying, and they thought I was talking against LGBTQ students. I was just kind of amazed. I was like, honey, you need to really read through this book, and you see that, hey, that's you. You do you, and just like I do me.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
I know that's right.
But no, I'm not against. I don't know why. Oof. Anyway, we getting ready to talk about our mamas.
Perfect for Mother's Day weekend. There we go.
So, this is a poem I wrote thanking my mama. Now, I will tell you this, Mr. Marc Medley. My parents split up when I was young. I was devastated. I was in grade 3. I was going to school 21 at the time. But through all that, my mother and I, we have been good friends. It was a rocky relationship, but at first. Mm-hmm. But we have persevered. So to my mama, Mama, you are the earth that grounds me, the sky that lifts me up. You are the fire that ignites my passion, the water that quenches my thirst. You raised me with grit and grace, instilling values that have shaped me into the woman I am today. You taught me to never settle, to always strive for excellence, and to have faith in myself and in the universe. Your love is fierce, unwavering, and unconditional, like a lioness protecting her cubs. You sacrificed so much for me, always putting my needs before your own, even when it meant going without. I am grateful for your wisdom, your guidance, and your unwavering support. You've been my rock, my confidant, and my friend through the ups and downs of life. I honor you, Mama, for your strength, your resilience, and your unwavering love. Thank you for being my safe haven, my shelter from the storms of life. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes. And we're to the point now, this is a perfect ending and segue to the interview. But now what I'm going to do is, this is your opportunity to promote and shout out for the next 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes or so. I'm going to turn my mic off and you get a chance to promote your books, your website, your LLC, any of your works. The only thing you cannot say is a dollar amount. But anything short of a dollar amount, you promote, let folks know how to get in touch with you, how to go to your websites, your jewelry, everything. You can promote that. The only thing that you can't say is a dollar amount. But other than that, the mic's yours.
Well, I thank you. You didn't have to sign off, though. You can stay on with me. Okay, so hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in on the Reading Circle with Mr. Marc Medley. special guest Queen Yolanda. Okay, so my websites, I have actually two. One is powerjewels.net. That's where you can see jewelry and also some other accessories, as well as the book and the calendar there. Also, there's queenyolanda.com. There you can find out a little bit more information about me. And I would love to share two appearances I'm making. Okay, on June 8th, as many of you know, there'll be this Passaic County Book Festival. A shout out to my parent, Alejandra Cruz, for telling me about it. I am going to be at that particular Passaic County Book Festival on June 8th. It's going to be in Rieselbrook Park in Clifton from 11 to 4. Also, on June 21st, I will be having a book signing and reading event at Soldato Books in Rutherford from 6 to 8 p.m. I hope you can join me there. None of these events they're all free. It's always good to come to free events.
That's the $1 amount you can say free.
free. And it also, on Juneteenth, I'm scheduled to be in Newark, New Jersey at, oh my goodness, Source of Knowledge bookstore.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Dexter.
They're going to be having an event there too. So I'm
I know
scheduled to be
Dexter.
there.
Yes. Okay, good.
They invited me in, so I was like, yes.
I know that's right.
That's good. Doing something positive on Juneteenth is always fun.
Yes, it is. I know that bookstore well. Matter of fact, I had one. No, I wasn't wearing it today. One of the dashikis I bought from them. Matter of fact,
they have so much stuff in that place. That place is
some of my masks that I have hanging up in my house, I bought from them.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they do. They really do. But I remember when I bought the dashiki there, and he was like, he said, those are the colors and the material that a king wears.
See?
Going back to your king and queen.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I put that dashiki on, I say, this is my king dashiki. I'm the king. I'm the king now.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, I have had a blast speaking with you this morning.
Yes.
I am so glad you took the time to get up here and come up. I do record the show. And like I said, for the people who didn't rise early, they will have an opportunity to hear it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. I appreciate the invite. It's just the opportunity to share. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, you are more than welcome. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let this music play, and then we're going to walk on out. But we will be in touch.